Good evening, everyone. I would like to, on behalf of the Department of KMIT and ATAL FDP, I would like to invite all of you to 1 week FDP on IoT in healthcare, which is conducted from 10th to 15th of February 2025. And I'd like to welcome all our distinguished speakers, participants, and our distinguished guests to come and please light the inaugural lamp. I would like to invite on the dais Dr. G. Narendra sir, HOD of CSE, and Dr. K. Anil Kumar, HOD of CSE Department of Data Science, and Dr. G. Narendra, Department of IT, HOD, to please inaugurate the lighting of the inaugural lamp. I would like to express my sincere gratitude to the organizers, Dr. B.L. Maleshwari Madam, Principal at KMIT, our co-coordinator, Dr. G. Narendra Sir, HOD of Department of IT, for bringing us all together in the insightful sessions of IoT in healthcare. And I would now like to invite all the attendees to actively participate in the event, raise queries, and also for engage with the speakers and each other. And so now we would like to start the inaugural FDP with the blessings of Ganesh, Lord Ganesh, by Dr. Rohini Madam.
Good evening to one and all. Jai Ganesha, Jai Ganesha, Jaya Jaya Gananayaka, Nitya Kalpa, Nitya Satya, Nitya Satya Dayaka, Ekadanta Vakratunda, Ganapate Lambodara, Ekadanta Vakratunda, Ganapate Lambodara, Jai Ganesha, Jai Ganesha, Jaya Jaya Gananayaka. Thank you.
Rohini ma'am for the melodious song. Now I would like to invite Dr. C.H. Ratan Kumar sir, HOD of CSE KMEC, to light the inaugural lamp via IoT interface. And over here we can see that we have kept a lighting lamp through interface through IoT, and we would now like to turn on, we would request Dr. C.H. Ratan Kumar sir to turn on his camera so that the participants can view that the IoT session organized from KMEC. To turn on the lamp and turn off the lamp. So via IoT, we have turned on the lamp by using an ESP32 connected to the relay. Ratan sir, we would now request you to please turn off your lamp, turn off the lamp. Thank you very much, sir, for your contribution. And now we would like to proceed towards the inaugural session. And I would request our Principal, Dr. B.L. Maleshwari ma'am, to speak a few words on the inaugural FDP. Thank you.
Good evening, ma'am.
Thank you, Kushi ma'am. Thank you so much for giving me this opportunity. Good evening, everyone. I welcome you all to the 6-day online ATAL FDP on IoT in healthcare. KMIT is established in 2007 and is located at Narayanguda, Hyderabad. Everyone knows that our KMIT is having an excellent placement track record all the time. This FDP is conducted by Department of IT. The participants registered are around 200. Exactly, it is 203. I appreciate for their great enthusiasm in learning the new technology as per the emerging trend. We live in a world where technology and healthcare are no longer separable. They are not separate domains, I mean to say. They are deeply interconnected. IoT is revolutionizing into medical by providing real-time patient monitoring, predictive diagnosis, treatment and solution. And we all know that IoT can act as a bridge with all the emerging technologies like for CSE, ECE, robotics, mechanical, electrical, biomedical, everything. So many are there, including biotechnology. And on this occasion, first, I should say my sincere gratitude towards our management for encouraging us to conduct such type of events. And the cooperation and coordination of all the HODs, faculty, and staff will always be commendable. My best wishes to all the 203 participants of this 6-day ATAL FDP online workshop who registered for this. My heartfelt, sincere thanks to all the resource persons who are from different technical domains and they're from India and abroad also. And I thank everyone for giving me this opportunity. And good luck to everyone. Thank you. Thank you so much. Over to Kushi Madam.
I would now like to introduce our speaker for today's session, Mr. Prashant R. Mudimela, who is working as a professor at the Department of Electrical and Electronics Engineering, Geetham, deemed to be University, Hyderabad. He has obtained his PhD from Aalto University, Finland. He has 2 years of postdoctoral experience from the University of Namur, Belgium, and KOST, Saudi Arabia. He has over 16 years of teaching and research experience. He is an active researcher having publications in various internationally reputed journals such as IEEE Transactions on Nanotechnology, Nano Research, ACS Nano, Carbon Microsystem Technologies, and so on. He is a life member of the Indian Science Congress Association and a senior member of IEEE. Sir's research areas include low power VLSI, IoT wearable devices, and sensors. Sir, we would like to introduce you to our participants, and also we would look forward to gaining knowledge from you. Thank you, sir. We would like you to carry forward into the session.
So can you see my PPT, everyone?
Yes, Prashant, sir. You can carry on.
Yeah. Thank you, Cash Memorial Administration, for inviting me to deliver talk on IoT medical applications. I think IoT is not new, even for the guys who are studying in BTech first year also, because we already started BTech IoT concept, especially in CSP, BTech is IoT. So I'm not going to much more details. Let me give brief information about IoT, then I will show some medical applications and some other applications which I worked. So I think you know very well about this one also, right? IoT basics. It's nothing but Internet of Things. It's nothing new for you guys also. So especially when you are at home, you can easily control your AC, your washing machine, right, from wherever you are by just using your mobile phone. So nothing but by using mobile phone, using nothing but your internet, you can able to control the things. So that's what nothing but simply called IoT. So IoT become more popular because means people become, to be frank, like big kind of lazy, or you want instant kind of output, and you want immediate output, immediate response. At the same time, you require very much speed also. So that's why IoT become very popular, not only in case of electronic related, even business related, even healthcare also nowadays. So let me go to the here. I think everyone knows about this IoT architecture. So it's basically consists of a asset layer. So asset layer is nothing but, for example, in case of medical application, patient is your asset layer. This is a place where you are getting most of the data from this person or persons. And next is about resource layer. Yeah. So in the resource layer, this is the place where you are sensing. For example, again, I'm talking about in terms of medical point of view. So what kind of data you want to get from the patient? For example, you want to study about glucose monitoring, or you want to study about his oxygen level monitoring, so kind of stuff. So this is the place where the resource layer will come to the picture. So even the case, even smartphones, even by smartphone also by camera also you can able to detect your SPOT levels, right? So this comes on resource layer. Once you go the data from the resource layer, then you can able to communicate. Nothing but you data with me. I need to send the data some X person. So that's part that comes under the communication layer. So you can use, for example, you can use Wi-Fi, you can use LAN network, you can use LAN wide WAN network. So all this kind of communication layer stuff will comes under this communication layer stuff. So next about service layer, because when you have the data, you are in data, you need to store the data somewhere, right? So there's a place where you have this service support layer, typically what you call it as data centers. You are keeping your data in a cloud environment. From there, you can easily collect data. So there's no additional additional resource required when you keep the data inside the cloud. And then this is the place where you connect. For example, when you have access of this support layer, nothing but a cloud support. So you can able to get the data and you can able to tag the data. You can collect data. You can do all kind of manipulations. You can access the data. But the main thing is the patient or the person who are really want to have its own kind of health issues, because we are living in a world where we are not like, even I am a normal human, we are nothing but data. That's what in simply call it as. Next, coming to the next is data information layer. So once you collect the data from the cloud, then you can able to capture the data and you can able to process the data, and you can able to access the data. From the data you can able to detect, or you can able to say this person having some this much of problem. So this is nothing but a bit more kind of private stuff, because I don't want my data to be accessed by some unauthorized access people. So at the same time, even IoT plays a major issue also here. So when the data comes into other people's hand, it's a big issue, right? And that's why when you design any kind of IoT structures, IoT devices, you should make sure that sensitive data must be properly stored. So I will cover in one of the slide. Next, in case of IoT system, I just explained about different layers, but we can't see the layers at all. But to be frankly speaking, so we are the one. Like for example, you can see the users. You can see the user for the family. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Hello. Hello.
Yeah, Prashant, sir, we can hear you.
I can see some. I can see some reason.
Yes, sir, you are audible.
Yeah, thank you. In case of user, that's why I said about patient here, can be child, can be grandfather, grandma, anyone. So when they wear any kind of this smart kind of things. Now the question, what is meant by smart? It's not only CAC part here. So we can, the role of electronics also plays a major role in this kind of stuff. For example, watching about, you can say about Apple Watch or iPhone, even now Samsung phone, right? It's not only a software, the software must be depending on the hardware. So once you design the proper hardware in case of smart wearable stuff, so this is a place where you can get the data properly, because this is the place we should be very much careful to, because we need to have proper reliable data. If the data is not accurate, so there's no other purpose, there's no use of cloud, there's no use of real-time processing, right? So that's why getting data is very much crucial. That is, more reliability is required in case of IoT. That's what matters even for normal people. When go for bigger industry, bigger place, like even for example, even what's a Siri, right? And this Amazon also there. For example, you are using your Amazon, what to say, if you speak, they will recognize your voice, they play something, right? It means they're analyzing your data. Nothing but through your IoT only here. Not in medical, it's different applications also there. So means you are the one who is going to the end user, at the same time the main user also here. Because I can be the main person to get data, or there some other person may be analyzing my data. So they can able to track you also. Oh, for example, for some time, forget IoT here. When you type, if you open google.com, if it is something I want to purchase something from Amazon, so within few seconds, maybe less than a second, you can see in your mobile phone ads will come automatically. It means they analyze your data, they know which data you want to require. So when you purchase a mobile phone, this mobile phone concern ads are coming there. But in case of IoT stuff, it's a private stuff, right? So that's why we should be very careful in these scenarios. Not like normal only search in a Google point of view. So that's why data protection very much required in case of IoT system. Next, if you talk about your car, so for example, you are going in a car for maybe at 120 km speed, something happened, right? Sometimes suddenly some your airbags open, means something wrong, and the so-called system inside the car, they will send the data, for example, to your what do you say to your parents, like your car got accident, so that they can able to track you also whether you are safe or not. It's one of the most important application. So in this IoT concept. Now, from this point, these mobile phones are Wi-Fi, all processing device comes in the intermediate part. At the same time, once you got the data in the, for example, this data stored inside your car or inside a mobile phone, then we're moving to the cloud. From the cloud, you can do the data whatever you want. For example, you can analyze data, you can store the data, you can do the real processing data, or you can get the feedback also. Okay, suppose you are running very fast, getting you some signal, maybe to your parent also. See, your guy is moving very fast. Then he will call you. Hey, why are you moving very fast? So it may be useful also. So that's the most advantages of IoT part. Now let me go to the medical point of view here. So in case of medical point of view, you can see different figures here, right? Suppose do I need to go to hospital every time? So nowadays people are too busy. Even the stalwart in the industry, they say please work for what to say 20 hours, maybe 90 hours, like this, right? Even for a week. It means you always stay in the office, please work. So whatever health, obviously health is a major role, right? Throughout your life. So that's why again the IoT concept, I'm just joking here, that's why IoT concept come here. When you are too busy to work at your own convenience, so you can able to call that particular diagnosed person, or you can give the data online, so they will process the data. So then you are no need to go to the hospital at all. So you can get directly report to your mobile phone, maybe through to your maybe WhatsApp, maybe email. So at the same time, if you go for elders, so something wrong with elders. So whom they call? Again, they have some kind of IoT device they can capture that their home. If they give some signal, so that the nearby hospital will be alarmed, so that they can come and rescue them. Of course, it's like our 108 kind of service, right? So this is one of the major applications here. Let me play a small video, then I'll move to a little kind of lead time of applications here. So can, can you hear it? The sound? Can you hear the sound? Hello?
We can't hear the sound.
All right, okay. Okay, this is basically nothing but, okay, I will tell you. So we're just using this IoT concept. Suppose you want to have some kind of something wrong, so they can send the small captures on the camera, and they will send it through the body, like endoscopy kind of stuff. So the camera goes inside your intestine part, so they can able to detect. So what are the things, any issue in that side? So without having any kind of opening in the body or open kind of surgery, so by just sending a small camera here, so we can able to see what's really happening inside the body. So that's what really matters. That's one major advantage of this IoT concept here. Nothing but it will send the signal to the outer world, and we can assess what's happening, what's really happening inside. Okay. Now, so let me move to the application oriented side. Not only this, if you see this one, right? The Google. So they're adding a special kind of contact technology here. So they are putting that contact lens inside in the eyes, so they can detect what are the fluids are inside the eyes. So they can track your eye kind of progress of it. The eye is good or not. So some more engineers are they made separate kind of pills here. Okay. So these pills were adding small IOD, they can stay inside the stomach, they can track is there any gas, for example, some people have gas troubles, right? Is there any gas release or not? These all things are possible in case of IoT integrated with different kind of electronics here. Okay, this is the one which made it during Corona. We just emulated, you can see that slide also here. For example, during Corona time, you can see a lot of guys are coughing a lot. So now the idea comes, why can't you? Because you can't go, you can't touch other people during Corona time, right? Become contagious also. So that's why here a small kind of fiber device is made. So they are keeping near their home or next to the patient. So depending how he is or her is coughing a lot, depending on the cough patterning also. Allah not only cough pattern, we just measure about their fever, any HbA1c levels, any blood pressure. So without touching the patient at all. So we can able to get the data and we can analyze this coughing pattern. For example, here, so we have something about audio spectrogram. Okay, we can analyze the coughing pattern here. So depending the coughing pattern, and we are giving the data here. If in case of CSC part, like CSC guys, so we are giving something about we're starting with different kind of machine learning kind of techniques here, or you can say natural learning process techniques also here. So we're combining all these methods here. Finally, we can able to sense is it a COVID or non-COVID, or we can't predict anything. So this is one of the things which you measure. We made it a successful deployment in one of the hospitals in Punjab. Of course, it's not, you can't say exact 100% success here, but still some deviation is there. And one more majority thing, suppose I'm a patient, right? So if I use some smartwatches, or how the so-called blood cell measure, how can you say how much SpO2 you are having? Okay, so this kind of concept also possible using IoT. Let me put it, I think you can see the slide here. So if you are a family, you are a patient, maybe you are a diabetic patient. So mostly they are using in non-invasive kind of a near infrared sensor technique here. So this sensor technique able to detect what's really happening inside your blood, depending on the red blood cells. Okay, and we can detect how much percent is there. So they can able to say, so here we can a healthy person, maybe non-healthy person. So this can done by just sitting at your home, and I just said earlier, this data is stored, and the physician, maybe end user, maybe some analyst, they can analyze the data, and they can send it back to you here. So let me show a small thing here. So you can see your blood vessel in this case. Right. So in case of blood based, I said already we are using near infrared kind of sensors here. So this kind of near infrared light, whenever it passes to the your finger, maybe your wrist, it penetrates a little more into this skin tissue. So you can see that the light is penetrating here. So depending on the value of blood glucose level, so the reflection of signal will vary here. The corresponding photo detector will able to detect the signal here and send back to the device, so that we can analyze the device here. So one of the major component in case of health sector, for example, the same is true in case of glucose also. So everything based on the simple kind of principle. So I said already, it's not only for CSC guys, it's also for electronics or even core industry guys also. For example, so when you get the so-called blood sample, right? So the sample voltage are very, very low here. So you need to amplify this kind of voltage so that to the minimum value, so that we can detect when you process the data. That's why we required a several op-amp circuit is required here. I think most of you guys knows op-amp also, especially EC, maybe triple E, maybe NDI guys. So this data is feeding to the operation amplifiers, where it can convert to microvolts region into a millivolt stuff. So that we can able to detect those values, so that we can able to compare or we can analyze these voltage values. So depending on the voltage values, you can say what how much percentage of blood, or can say concentration of blood, SpO2 levels are there. So that's why here the electrons also plays a major role. Again, depends on your design also here. Anyway, I'm not going to the much more into the design part. So let me show you one more here. This is the place how you can make the device in this case here. So in this case, so I'm just using my wrist here. Okay, I'm attaching the glucose monitoring sensor in my wrist. So to be speak, we're not it's not putting any kind of needle into your body at all, because we don't want any kind of blood drawn, right? So we're just connecting to your wrist. I just discussed just now, because of near infrared sensor. That's what the complete electron cycle incorporate in the. Okay. So depending on this condition here, we can able to detect the glucose level monitoring here. And we are sending this data and through a cable and to a laptop, maybe to a mobile phone. From there, you can go to the cloud. So the one of the because this application is basic principle that this can be applied to many kind of. For example, the same is true in case of something wrong with my bone also. So, for example, when you have something in another case, for example, in simple way, suppose nowadays a lot of people having what to say vitamin D deficiency is there, right? At the same time, if we see their legs as a bit kind of swallow is there, become more means become a big lump will be there near their feet. So by using this IoT device, you can detect so what are the fluid content there. So from the fluid content, we can able to say normal healthy person means we can't see the so-called legs are not swell at all. But by the help of this IoT, we can detect how much fluid content is there. Based on the fluid content, we can say what's wrong with this person. This is also one of the major application. I think now some of my students are working on this kind of concept. Okay, and apart from not only medical application, I will show you one kind of simple examples which I think few of my students did in some other university. Suppose you go to some kind of hospital, right? So suppose some hospital is somewhere in this point here, okay? But ours is a big building, right? If you enter the hospital, if you know the doctor room, you can easily go there. But if you are new to this person, sometimes doctor room may also change. So even with the help of IoT, we can able to, because when the guys will change, suppose one ex guy is doctor is sitting in this place, and after maybe 6 months he may move some other place, for example. So how can we able to track? So we made something about using IoT concept, nothing but your mobile signal strength. Suppose we are keeping different. Suppose I'm keeping one router X in this place, and I'm keeping one more router somewhere in this area. Okay, suppose this is the place where the doctor is located here. Suppose when the person some X is moving from X to, for example, Y here. Okay, depending on the mobile signal. Suppose here the mobile signal strength is high compared to this mobile signal strength, right? It means we are near to this router, means this is the place where you are located in. Then when the person move towards the direction this place, and we can able to sense. So like, okay, you are near this road means the weak signal from this side we can able to detect. The same we can see strong signal from this Wi-Fi router, right? So we can able to say this person, this guy is staying somewhere here. This is one of the most important application. I think I can show that results now. So we just made about uh, user-centric hospital automation system using internet here. So first thing we just by using this technique, we just analyze what are the access points in the particular location. This is the demo we made it inside the university here. We just made one guy sitting. We just made three kind of different networks are there. You can able to sense which is having high strength. So depending high strength, you can say this guy is staying somewhere here. So not only that, you can see here, this is the place, your mobile phone is there, this is the place we can see your so router is there, right? So we can say this guy is near to, there may be some other, so there may be some other router near, for example, there may be some other router nearby here also. So it may consist of maybe some can diagonally also come here. It means this strength is very high because very near here, right? This strength is very low because very far in this place. We can say this guy is very near to me. So this is also one of the important case of IoT. Not only a big kind of medical related stuff also, because we're just trying to implement in a one of the hospital. Just make like a test bed. Okay. I think any questions you can ask me. Any questions you can ask me. Please give me. I'm busy now. Cannot find it. Yeah. See you. Bye. So if someone wants to involve in some of these concepts, you may contact me. Hello?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You are audible.
Yeah, okay.
Yes,
So
sir.
so any kind of questions, maybe you can contact me. My laptop stopped or what? Okay. Any questions, please? Yeah, one more issue in case of, I said major issue, the sensitive data, right? So the sensitive data basically, for example, like patient data here. So in case of US, some other countries, they are having very stringent measurements. So like whatever the patient data, any kind of sensitive data, especially in case of health information. Okay. So in this kind of stuff, we should maintain the proper security here. That's why a special act made, what you call it as HIPAA Act, it's simply called Health Insurance Probability and Accountability Act here. So according to this act only, okay, you should be able to store data. Otherwise, you are not supposed to use this kind of concept at all. So that we can protect the concern person's safety or safety and security also. Now one more issue. Nowadays we're just using smartphone. Now we're working with 5G kind of stuff, right? So whenever you are trying to use, because we are in medical kind of stuff, right? So in case of medical kind of stuff, our so-called blood cells or even biological properties, the biological properties may also affect because of this radio frequency stuff, because it's nothing but electromagnetic field nearby, especially in case of mobile phone, right? So these may also affect the particular patient also. It means you may have some, suppose I'm a blood, so I want to do something, I'm keeping my smart weight device near my wrist here. So when I keep the device near my wrist in this place, but when because of the so-called 5G signals, so may also affect. Now, of course, people say they don't prove it. So especially, for example, reproductive kind of stuff or neurological, metabolical issues may also happen here. So this, I can't say IoT is 100% solution. Whenever required, you can use this IoT concept here. That's the main motto in case of especially dealing with medical samples, like nothing but dealing with the patients here. Okay. And one more thing about people say about reproductive also issue may also happen. But because one more thing here, I think let me show you one thing. The guys who are working with radar kind of stuff, they have only a female child. It means the Y chromosome may die because of the radiations. Because I know some of my friends, even all of them having the only girl childs, no male childs at all. I'm not denying, okay? I'm just telling the fact here. So that's why we should be very careful when you're dealing with this kind of stuff, especially 6G, 5G kind of devices here. Anyway, we're not working with every time, it's only work occasionally, then no issue at all. So that's why you should be very careful when you're working with this 5G or 6G kind of stuff. Nothing but IoT only, right? Just connecting the things with different devices using maybe 5G or 6G kind of stuff. Okay. Yeah, thank you so much. I think I'm busy with some other NBA work here at the university. Any questions, you can let me know. If any questions, please let me know. Okay then, thank you. If you want to take a note on my email ID, you can contact me so that we can work together. Maybe we can discuss. All right. Thank you, organizers. Anyway, thank you guys. Thank you so much. Have a good day. Anyway, thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Prashant sir, for your valuable insights.
Thank you, Sandeep.
Okay, we'll start the next session in 10 minutes.
I would like to now introduce Dr. Rajeshwar Rao Garu for the session IoT in Stack application. To begin, Dr. Rameshetty Rajeshwar Rao Garu is presently working as a director in academic JNTU, so Vijayanagaram. He completed his BTech CSE in the year 1999 from VR Siddhartha Engineering College, Vijayawada, and done in MTech in CSE from JNTUH, Hyderabad in the year 2003. So PhD in JNTUH in the year 2010. So he pursued his postdoctorate in University of Missouri, Columbia, USA in the 2019. So he received Vidyarathan Award from the TEHEC New Delhi for the year 2011. The Dr. Rao is a recipient of Jyeshta Acharya Award from Bharat Educational Excellent Awards, Vishakhapatnam, India. He is an academic advisor to the National Cyber Security and Security Standards. He is a member and senior member of IEEE. His areas of interest are artificial intelligence, speech processing, pattern recognition, NLP, and cloud computing. Thank you, sir, for giving so much of valuable time. You can start the session, sir.
Yeah. Good evening to all the participants and also the host college. First of all, I would like to thank the organizers for giving me this opportunity. So basically, I did my post-graduation MTech from JNTU Hyderabad and also PhD from JNTU Hyderabad. I think some of the participants who are there might be pretty much aware of me. So anyhow, my research area is speech processing, but during my postdoc, I have done some work on this particular area called, IoT and these protocols, especially on TCP and UDP. I worked on some offloading strategies in the cloud computing. So during that process, I have gone through some of the content and stuff. So whatever the content and stuff that I could able that I am aware, that I am happy that I am able I can share some content towards this IoT. So is it audible now? Audible now, sir? Ravindra Nagendra?
Yeah.
Nagendra, yeah. So,
Rajeshwar,
yeah, whenever there is some
continue.
problem, please let me know.
Sure,
Okay?
sure.
So, see, one of the buzzword in today's IT field is Internet of Things. So, whenever we go for interviews, we ask them what are the skills that you are aware of. They say always, most of them, they say deep learning, machine learning, IoT, and so on and so forth. Of course, the paradigm shift from 20th century to 21st century is now we are going to witness, and already we have been witnessing the impact of Internet of Things in many domains. So what is basically IoT, what are its applications, and actually what are the protocols that we use that are being used for this communication between items, our equipments, all these things we are going to discuss, or we are going to have a glance on this particular topic, IoT protocol stack and its applications. So my outline of the talk will be like this: introduction to IoT, building blocks of IoT, introduction to IoT protocols, requirements for effective IoT protocols, IoT protocol stack, and various applications. Of course, we will be discussing about certain drawbacks here in this IoT, and conclusion. So what is basically Internet of Things? See, because of the revolution in the internet technology, when compared with, 19th century, 20th century, and 21st century, most of you might be aware that in 19th century, when internet was introduced, it is very difficult. We used to, uh, you know, uh, it is very. Internet caves used to be there. So due to that, we used to book slots and we used to work for half an hour or 1 hour, and we used to pay money. Slowly, internet have revolutionized in such a way that within a click of a button in our mobiles, we could able to get our get our things done. What is this internet? Then in 21st century, what is this Internet of Things? So, see, like how the human beings communicate with each other. Now the trend is, the order of the day is, we should make the things to communicate with each other. That is through internet. So, in order to communicate, in order to make the systems to communicate with each other, of course, we all know about the networks. In a similar way, how do we make the system? How do we make the things? Whatever it may be, the items that we, whether it may be household items, or either it may be day-to-day items which we use or which we come across in our life. Our objective is to make the things to communicate with each other. So the broader perspective, we can call it as Internet of Things. See, connecting things through internet is nothing but Internet of Things, or we should make to communicate with each other through internet, which we call it as Internet of Things. So the Internet of Things is a network of physical objects that always collect, exchange, and utilize data. Of course, nothing but communication. IoT devices are sensors to capture real world data and actuators to take physical actions. So they capture data and they will initiate the data, these equipments, and for the sake of certain physical actions. Data, see, because of this collection of data, obviously we can go for some sort of data analytics in order to take certain decision makings. The dynamic nature of the IoT revolutionizes our interaction with technology and promises a future where objects intelligently interact, enhancing, convincing efficiency and connectivity. The Internet of Things uses multiple embedded systems to collect data about motion, temperature, and other aspects of the user environment. IoT is a great choice of business that wants to offer better customer services. See, IoT plays prominent role in day-to-day life. Hello? Hello? I
Yes,
think
yes.
some hissing background, some noise is there.
No,
Yeah,
we are able to
so,
hear you.
yeah, okay, fine. So this is about the basic introduction. See, we all have witnessed the applications of Internet of Things in various domains. See, for example, because of this IoT, we could able to sense the moisture. We could able to even in our houses, in order to know whether the overhead tank is full or not, we are using that. And especially for drip irrigation process in agriculture, we are using internet. And in many applications, these sensors are being used. Even in ACs, the day-to-day air conditions which we use, there are some certain sort of sensors. So in order to measure smoke, in order to measure the temperatures, all these things, wherever it is required, we are using these Internet of Things, sensors. So what are the concept, what is the basic concept of Internet of Things means? See, connectivity, you connect the things, you sense the things, and based on the communication, you try to develop or you try to analyze. So there are 4 parameters that that are basically in a broader view, that are related to Internet of Things, that are the resultant of the Internet of Things. One is connectivity. So the objective of Internet of Things is, as I mentioned, we are supposed to connect the things or items. So the IoT relies on the ability of physical objects to connect to the internet. This is made possible by use of low power. See, that is very important. Most of the researchers in present day, they work on, if anybody says that I am working on Internet of Things means, or I am working on, say, some wireless sensor networks, or I am working on, say, some sort of these related application, they say that one of the parameter that they are going to measure is low power. So how best you use the power of the consumption of power, that will be the better application or result that we are going to get. Next, wide area networks. Low power wide area networks, LPWANs means low power wide area networks, such as Sigfox. It's a company of Germany which was invented in the year 2010. Then low RAWN means low range prime wireless sensor networks, low range prime wireless sensor networks, communication technology transfers. Then narrow band IoT, NB-IoT means narrow band IoT. So these are all the items which are used for IoT connectivity. Sigfox, LoRaN, LoRaWAN, NB-IoT. The second parameter is sensing. So IoT devices are typically equipped with sensors. See, the applications, whatever you consider, either it may be agricultural application or either it may be some sort of scientific application, whatever the application that you consider, obviously that will be ended up with some sort of sensors. So through sensors only we will be connecting the data or collecting the signals or collecting the data about the environment. See, this can be used to monitor conditions, track movement, and detect event. Then the third parameter is communication. So IoT devices need to be able to communicate with each other. Obviously, there will be certain protocols. So those protocols, mainly which the standard protocols that they are used that we use are MQTT. That means Message Queue Telemeter Transport Protocol. This is one of the standard protocol that most of the researchers that they will use in this particular IoT applications. Message Queue Telemetry Transport Protocol, COAP, that is Constrained Application Protocol. Obviously, HTTP, you are pretty much aware of it, Hypertext Transfer Protocol. So based on the data that we gather, obviously some sort of analysis has to be done, which is nothing but analytics. The data collected by IoT devices can be analyzed to gain insights into the physical world. This data can be used to improve efficiency, optimize process, and make better decisions. So these are all the four parameters in a broader perspective, which we call them as concepts of the Internet of Things. First one is connectivity. We have to connect them. There should be some sort of sensors, sensing, and establishing a communication between those two items through certain protocols like MQTT, COAP, and HTTP. And based on the data that we are going to get or record or receive, whatever it may be, that those things are to be analyzed. So these are the four parameters. Then coming to the next one, what are the building blocks? See, if you look at this architecture or the block diagram, see, smart things are there, though that means some sort of sensors are there. If you look at here, these smart things represents, these are nothing but some sort of sensors arranged at various places. Through these smart things, we are going to collect the data, and these data is passed on to the network through gateways, and obviously there will be middleware, and finally application. So this is the IoT key building block, which we call in a broader way, which we call them as IoT building blocks. Next, coming to the main agenda point of this talk, what are the IoT protocol stacks? See, in general, in any network communication, there are certain protocols like 7 protocols are there. 7 layers are there: application layer, presentation layer, session layer, transport layer, network layer, data link layer, and physical layer. So there are 7 protocols. each seven layers. Each layer, of course, most of the protocols that we use are TCP/IP or UDP, but these layers, these seven layers play prominent role. So more or less, these seven layers are also replicated here in this IoT protocol stack also, except one more layer. So most of the layers are common either in IoT or even in data, communication between communication in the networks as well. So we will see this IoT protocol stack. So what is this IoT protocol means? As I mentioned, the devices are supposed to communicate with each other. So how do we make the system, like networks? In networks, what we are doing, we are making the systems to communicate with each other. But what we are doing here in IoT, we are making the things to communicate with each other. Internet of Things. You take two things, whatever might be the things, we are supposed to make them to communicate with each other. So humans can communicate with each other, same like these devices can communicate with each devices through protocol, which are known as IoT protocols. The protocol is defined as set of rules, as we are pretty much aware of it, and regulation guidelines having how to react for commands from another device. These protocols are very important while in communication device. IoT, IoT protocols are the languages that follow for communication between sensors, gateways, physical devices, and end user applications. They provide for the transmission and exchange of data in a very structured and unified manner. See, obviously, what is this protocol means? Set of rules, guided rules, which we use them for the sake of communication between two things. That is nothing but IoT protocols. So what are the requirements for effective IoT protocols? The first one is allow communication among various devices simultaneously. IoT is being used in critical areas like health, industries, home surveillance, etc. Hence, communication security needs to be ensured. Transport data efficiently. IoT devices can be added or removed from the IoT network. Hence, protocol must be provided scalability. See, allow communication among various devices simultaneously. That is one of the major requirements. See, for example, when you go for toll gates, see, this is one of the a good example in the recent past which we have come across. Earlier in toll gates, it used to take a lot of time in order to pay the toll, but but because of the sensors, we are able to get. We are able to pay the toll within a fraction of second, and we are nowhere stopping there in the toll gate. So we are able to overcome the congestion in nearby the toll gates. So that is one of the good example that we can say. And also in various applications we use this IoT. So allowing communication from various devices simultaneously. IoT is being in critical areas like health. So in order to cross check, telemedicine is one of the good example. So where a patient who is sitting remotely can be monitored by a doctor based on certain sensors about his body temperature and other things, by capturing the information, or even so these are all the requirements for effective IoT protocols. So effective gathering of information, that is through sensors, and communicating, transferring of data from one element to other, one item to other item. And also the major drawback and advantage here with this IoT is we can add or remove the things in a network at any point of time. So hence protocols must be they must provide scalability. So this is the one of the major point that has to be addressed here. So next, coming to this, understanding protocol stacks. So definition of a protocol stack. What is the definition of a protocol stack? Functionality of the stack, layer responsibility, reliable communication, and net IoT network operations. So what is this understanding protocol stack? See, a protocol stack is a collection of network protocols designed for communication. I repeat, what is a protocol stack? Is nothing but a group of collection of items. Collection of protocols, which we call it as definition. A protocol stack is a collection of network protocols designed for communication. What are the functionalities of a stack? It dictates how data is transmitted and managed across layers. Then layer responsibility. As I mentioned, as we are pretty much aware, all the layers have their own responsibilities. Like, data link layer is having functionalities like error correction, error detection, and error correction, and so on and so forth. Network layer is having its own functionality, and session layer is having its own functionality. Then reliable communication. Obviously, at the end of the day, what the end user is expecting, or what the IoT is expecting, means reliable communication between the things or items. So what is the IoT network operation? Means critical to the function of Internet of Things and applications. So this is about understanding protocol stack. So as I mentioned, there are these 7 layers, and apart from that, layered architecture is there. So physical layer, this layer is responsible for the actual transmission of data over physical media such as cables and radio waves, as you are pretty much aware of this. I don't want to go in depth into these layers. Why? Because we all know about these 7 layers and their vital role in designing and making communication between the systems. So data link layer ensures a reliable transmission of data frames between devices on the same network, managing error detection and correction. As I mentioned, there are various error detection and correcting approaches. So like cyclic redundancy check, and also parity check, and Hamming window, like error correcting approaches, so on and so forth. Network layer handles routing of data packets across multiple networks, determining the best path for data transmission. Transport layer provides end-to-end communication services for applications, ensuring complete data transfer with error recovery. Session layer manages sessions between applications, establishing, maintaining, and terminating connections as needed. Presentation layer, uh, this is one of the important layer, translate data into format that can be understood by the application layer, handling data encryption and compression. Application layer is the topmost layer that directly interacts with the end user, providing services for applications to communicate over the network. So the eighth one is importance of layered architecture. This architecture promotes modularity and flexibility, allowing the easier design and management of IoT systems. So this protocol stack also more or less have these 7 layers, prominent layers, which we use in network communication. The same 7 layers are used, and we will see various protocols and various layers that are being used among these 7 layers. So what is the physical layer functionality, and what are the protocols or technologies that are being used in this Wi-Fi? Let us see one by one. So the physical layer is the uh, ground layer, I mean first layer, which is connected directly to the physical equipment, which we call it as physical layer. The physical layer is responsible for the physical connection of the devices to the network. It handles the transmission of raw data between devices and physical transmission media, converting digital transformation into electrical, radio, or optical signals. See, we all know about Bluetooth. So most of us, we use Bluetooth technologies for playing certain, I mean, for watching something, playing, or to listen some sort of music. So the range of Bluetooth is hardly 10 meters, or 30 feet, sorry, 10 feet, or I would say that it is 10 meters. So Wi-Fi, as mostly we can say it as say some 60 to 70 meters or max of 100 meters. Zigbee, it allows us to go for it is for around about 30 meters, that can be used, this Zigbee technology. Low power, low data rate wireless communication. So LTE, long term evaluation for mobile communication. Narrowband IoT for low power wide area networks, low range low power communication. So these are all the technologies that are being used for the sake of, I mean, in IoTs, for the sake of these function, technologies that are being used. in this which are connected to this physical layer. So Bluetooth, we will see. Let us see one by one. Bluetooth low energy. So Bluetooth low energy for blue is a power conserving type of classic Bluetooth. BLE is form of wireless communication, which primary application is short distance transmission of small amount of data, that is low bandwidth. So for applications which requires low bandwidth, generally we go for these Bluetooth technologies. So Bluetooth low energy approximately 100x less power than Bluetooth, which depends on your application. So these are all the various applications where we can you go for this Bluetooth low energy. One is in vehicles or in some sort of printing technology. I mean wireless. We can take a printout by connecting it through this Bluetooth low energy. Wireless devices streaming rich content like video and audio. For those purposes, we can use these Bluetooth low energy technologies. The next one is devices that connect with both the center of your wireless world and also center devices sending small bits of data using very little energy. See, wherever low bandwidth and low energy consumption occurs for applications, these type of applications, we can go for this Bluetooth low energy. Next, Zigbee technology is all about wireless protocol. It's an IEEE 802.15.4 based specification for a suite of high-level communication protocols using to create a personal area network PANs with small low-power digital radios such as for home automation, medical device collection, and other low-power, low-bandwidth needs. It is designed for small-scale projects which need wireless connection. Hence, Zigbee is a low power, low data rate, and close proximity, that is personal area, wireless, and ad hoc network. See, next to this, Bluetooth technology, the next technology, I mean, if it is for 10 meters, this Zigbee technology covers up to say some 30 meters. The range is, it is multi-folded into 3. Therefore, the range varies from Bluetooth technologies to these Zigbee technologies. So certain applications like the applications which are related to uh, home related applications or home sensors, where whatever the applications pertaining to this home automation, there we use these Zigbee technologies. Long range wide area networks. So the next to that Zigbee is long range wide area network. See, this technology is especially used in drone technologies. See, for example, see these days drones are used in multi purposes. For example, in agriculture it is being used, or in war, in order to take some privacy data. Agriculture, these drones are being used. So, or in order to capture the live situation where some sort of accidents take place, there we can deploy our drones, which we call them as unmanned vehicles. So we can deploy those drones into those dangerous locations and we can capture. So for such type of applications, in order to capture the data, so these long range area wide networks, LoRaWAN, these technologies can be used. So this is about long range wide area networks. The next, this is the most prominent one where the drone technologies are being used with the help of this technology only. So the next one is data link layer. This layer ensures reliable data transfer across the physical link. It handles error detection and correction, flow control, and also establishment and termination of connection between devices. So what are the protocols or technologies that are being used? The first one is, we are pretty much aware that Ethernet. The second one is point-to-point protocol. The third one is IEEE 802.15.4. This protocol is a standard low rate wireless personal area network used in Zigbee. So data link the overview is, we all know, just for a glance, let me throw some light on this. primary function is to facilitate node-to-node data transfer while ensuring data detection and correction, data framing, access management, protocol overview, error handling. Of course, the prime objective of this data link layer is to detect the errors and to correct the errors, and also to establish the connection between node to node. So this is the data link layer overview. The next layer is network layer. The function of the network layer is responsible for routing data packets from source to the destination across multiple networks. It handles logical addressing, traffic directing, and congestion control. So the protocols used are Internet Protocol, the primary protocol for routing data across networks, which we call them as IP. The second one is routing protocol for low power and loosey networks, designed for low power and loosey networks. Then Internet version 6 over low power wireless personal area networks, which we call it as 6 low WPAN. In a broad, if we expand it, it is called as Internet Protocol version 6 over low power wireless personal area networks, an adoption layer for IPv6 over IEEE 802.15.4. So these are all the protocols which we use on this network layer. So this is how the architecture looks like. Therefore, the smallest devices with limited processing ability to transmit information wirelessly using an internet protocol IPv6, this protocol is used in these type of applications. It's low power wireless mesh network where every device has its own address that allows the device to connect with the internet using open standards. So using these protocol, we can connect laptops, computers, IP enabled devices and servers, and it's one type of local area network. Using these protocols, we based on the applications, we use these protocols in different applications. This of course, understanding the network layer, core functionality is for managing data routing, forwarding across multiple networks, ensuring effective communication, logical addressing. Next one is routing protocols, key protocols. Examples of protocols at this layer include Internet Protocol and its successor IPv6, which are vital for internet communication. The fifth one is routing process overview. So transport protocol, there are two protocols which we come across in a broader way. One is connection oriented, the second one is connectionless. So the connection oriented protocol is TCP/IP protocol, the connectionless is user datagram protocol. So this protocol TCP provides reliable, ordered and error checked delivery of data. The UDP, user datagram protocol, offers a simpler connectionless communication mode with minimal overhead. So this transport layer protocol, so for example, in an unmanned vehicle, when we in order to communicate between the unmanned vehicle, where the data is being captured, or suppose if we are if we have fixed a camera in the unmanned vehicle and we are taking some sort of scene, we are shooting some, we are recording some video where some sort of some suppose a fire accident took place. We are supposed to locate fire accident took place in a multi-stored complex. We want to identify whether there are any manhole or any sort of, any public is there in that particular multi-stored building. So we have deployed a unmanned a vehicle, which we call it as a drone, into that complex or into that multi-stored building, and let us assume that that drone is taking shooting the video. That video is being recorded and that is being sent to the ground control station. That ground control station within, see, collecting the data at a drone, I mean recording the data at a drone and sending it to the ground control station, that's fine. But here it's an emergency case. We have to take a decision we have to take the ground control station has to take a decision. I mean, they have to take a quick call on whether to deploy the person into that, whether to deploy the rescue people to rescue the people who are, who are there in that, multi-stored building, or who got hidden in that multi-stored building. Or in order to take any type of decision, emergency conditions, the decision processing of the decision is also very important. So in such type of conditions, if we use TCP protocol in order to communicate between the unmanned vehicle to the ground control station, I mean from A to B or B to A, either through TCP/IP protocol or UDP protocol, what will be the condition? So this is also one of the research problem which has to be addressed. See, while sending the data from ground control station to the drone, or drone to the down control station through UDP, it's a connectionless. Obviously, the data frames will collude with each other and we cannot analyze properly. And if we send it through TCP/IP protocol, so it's it's like acknowledgement. After getting acknowledgement only, we will be the sender A will be sending data to the B receiver. So if that is the case, again it's a delay process. So in such type of circumstances, what has to be done? So this is the problem that has to be addressed majorly. I mean, issue that has to be addressed in order to send the data from drone to ground control station. So comparison of transport layer protocols. The first one is reliability, connection type, speed, use cases, data segmentation, header size, flow control, congestion control, usage in streaming and in applications. So I think these are all, I mean these parameters you are pretty much aware of it, but flow control is very, very important. So based upon our application, we have to choose what type of protocol that we are supposed to use it. And also see, as I mentioned, it's in an emergency case, if I go for TCP, my data transmitting will be delayed. If I go for UDP, okay, because of this dumping of data, obviously the collision of frames, one among them, we cannot analyze the data properly. And again, congestion control has to be addressed, streaming. So these type of issues are there. So these are the things that are to be addressed in this IoT application. But however, based on our application, we use the protocol that we look for, and where we can achieve the task in a better way. Such type of based on the applications and requirement, we finally we choose the protocols. Then session layer. So what is the session layer means? The session layer manages sessions or connections between applications. It establishes, maintains and terminates communication sessions. So what are the protocols or technologies that are being used? Most prominent protocols that are being used are message queuing telemetry transport. This is a lightweight messaging protocol for small sensors and mobile devices. The second one is constrained application protocol, designed for use with constrained nodes and networks. The third one is AMQP, which we call it as advanced message queuing protocol, used for transactional message between servers. XMPP, which is nothing but extensible messaging and presence protocol, a communication protocol for message oriented middleware. So this is about the session layer. So what is this message queuing telemetry transport protocol? Let us see this. Is a telemetry transport is a publish subscribe based lightweight messaging protocol. It is best suited for Internet of Things and machine to machine communication because of its small code footprint, lower bandwidth requirements, and low power consumption on devices. See, the major problem in IoT applications is one is power consumption or battery or energy consumption and low bandwidth. See, for example, if you take this unmanned vehicle or drone, based on the height it flies, the flight of the drone is proportionate to the energy consumption. If you flight, if you flight the drone, say 200 meters away from the ground station, obviously when compare, I mean the power consumption will be low when compared with 300 meters or say some 500 meters. The more the height, the more the height the flight, the more the height of the drone, the power consumption also will be high. And also the signal, the strength of the signal from the ground control station to the flight or the drone, that also will be weakened. So the major things that are to be addressed here are these drones are unmanned vehicles or IoT application. See, I am taking drone as one of the application for IoT in order to sense, in order to capture some information. Similar way, these IoT devices, I mean for small applications it's okay, but in order to address some big applications, obviously these parameters are to be taken into count. One is bandwidth, low power consumption. These two are very important, and also the third one is energy. See, the more the energy consumption, if it is high, obviously the battery will be weakened within short duration. So we cannot use it for more time. So these are all the problems that are to be addressed in these IoT applications. So most of the researchers will be addressing these problems in their research, and that's what I mean. This is that's where this particular area is being picked up, and most of the researchers are focusing on this particular domain. What are the key highlights of this messaging queuing telemetry transport means? Subscribe architecture, I mean it's lightweight, header size is 2 bytes. It is based on TCP/IP based, quality of service support, payload agnostic. It uses secure socket layer or transport layer security for security purpose, and a broker could be single point of failure. Okay, so this is about message queuing telemetry transport, which we call it as MQTT. So this, if you look at the architecture, flow of this message queuing telemetry transport. See, for example, if you take a temperature sensor, the data will be transmitted through this MQTT client, which is called as publisher. That through that it will be sent to the MQTT server, message queuing telemetry transport server, which we call it as a broker. From there it will be sent to the client, and from there it will be sent to the application. So these this communication is being transmitted from one level to the next level through this TCP/IP network, which we call it as message queuing telemetry transport. So the next one is advanced message queuing protocol. So what is this advanced message queuing protocol when compared with the message queuing telemetry transport? The advanced message queuing protocol is a open standard for passing business messages between applications. Advanced messaging protocol has low success rate at low bandwidths, but it increases as bandwidth increases. However, comparing advanced message queuing protocols with REST AMQP can send a large amount of message per second. When compared with AMQP with REST and AMQR, obviously it will send more amount of data per second. So here, what are the key highlights? The key highlights are point-to-point message exchange, that is server to server, flexible message patterns, then TCP/IP based, smallest packet size, quality of support, and uses SSL TLS for security. See, if you look at Dr. Narendra, am I audible? Dr. Narendra?
Yes, yes, sir. You're
Yeah,
audible.
yeah. Right, fine. So, if you look at the comparison between these two, uh, you know, these message queuing telemetry transport and this advanced message queuing protocol, here the data will be communicated between client to client here, but whereas here it will be communicated from server to server. Most of them, this is here the it's a lightweight, a maximum of 2 bytes, but here it is 60 bytes. The size of the packet is 60 bytes, so it is called as advanced message queuing protocol. And the remaining things, this quality of service, TCP IP base, the remaining things are more or less same. So this advanced message queuing protocol AMQP looks like this. So a message published by a producer, it will be sent to the broker. A queuing is bound to exchange being billing. Then it will be transmitted again to this service uh, by the subscriber. So these are all the major, two differences between advanced message queuing protocol and message queuing telemetry transport protocol. The next one is constrained application protocol. The constrained application protocol is a specialized web transfer protocol for use with constrained nodes and constrained networks in the IoT. It runs over UDP to keep the overall implementation lightweight and uses the HTTP commands like get, post, put and delete to provide resource oriented interactions. So what are the key highlights for this constrained application protocol means? It requests response architecture, UDP IP based, quality of service support, supports unicast as well as multicast, support resource discovery, COAP, constrained application protocol nodes, node place, server role 2, decentralized, no single point of failure. So this is about constrained application protocol. So finally, the last one is presentation layer followed by application layer. So the presentation layer is the layer translates data between the application layer and the network. It handles data encryption, compression, and translation. So what are the technologies that are being used are JavaScript object notation, extensible markup language, and data encryption standards. So these are the technologies that are being used in the presentation layer, especially for IoT technologies. Why? Because see JSON JavaScript object notation, a lightweight data interchange format. And in most of the the markup languages are used for encoding documents and in data encryption standards. So the application layer means here the function of the application layer, it services directly to end user applications. It defines protocols for specific data exchange and communication needs. What are the protocols and technologies that are being used are means HTTP, MQTT, COAP, DDS and OPC. So MQTT means message queue telemetry transport protocol used at the application layer for lightweight messaging. See, so far in the research that has been reported in the literature, especially with respect to IoT, these IoT applications are good to work at lightweight messages. So still, things such as heavyweight means data with big lots of amount of data, and also with respect to battery, with respect to power consumption, with respect to throughput, with respect to turnaround time in these IoT devices. So these things still researchers in this particular domain they are working, but in spite of that, as of now as per the existing literature, the IoT applications are good at, MQTT, I mean for lightweight messages. See, the protocol used is MQTT, COAP, constrained application protocol, which is used at application layer for constrained environments. Then data distribution services, a middleware protocol for data centric connectivity, and OPC unified architecture, a machine to machine communication protocol for industrial automation. So this is about the application layer. See, more or less, uh, the protocols which we have come across in networks, I mean the layers which we have come across in networks, the same 7 layers are there, but the protocols at each and every layer varies from general network communication to this IoT communication. So let us have a small glance, a quick glance, to overview of key protocols and their applications. So the key protocols in IoT are MQTT, that is Message Queue Telemetry Transport Protocol, COAP, Constrained Application Protocol, AMQP, then followed by HTTP. These are all the essential communication protocols in IoT. So what is the objective of the COAP or functionality of the COAP means it's a web transfer protocol suitable for constrained services offering efficient resource use. Then HTTP, it's a widely used protocol for low power devices due to higher overhead. Use cases, protocols are applied in various scenarios like smart home devices, industrial automation and healthcare. These protocols are used. Then MQTT, message queuing telemetry transport protocols are lightweight messaging protocols, ideal for low bandwidth and high latency networks, as we have seen. Then AMQP means, this protocol is used for next level to MQTT, provides robust messaging for enterprise applications supporting message orientation and queuing. So where do we consider these protocols? We choose protocols based on power consumption, performance needs and ease of implementations. So these are the this is the broader view of comparison of protocols, various protocols that are being used in IoT exclusively for communication in IoT. So so far we have seen about the layers and various protocols that are being used at various layers, and what are its functionalities and what are its objectives that we have seen. So what are the protocol, I mean how do we what are the challenges, especially obviously when there is some sort of new invention, obviously there will be some sort of challenges. So what are the main challenges faced by these IoT protocols? So there are 4 major challenges that are being faced by these IoT protocols. One is scalability. So see, there is no limit for this IoT. See, Internet of Things. We cannot see what is internet. Internet means we cannot define it. Define means n number of items that are connected across the globe. We can call it as internet. So it keeps on increasing. There is no limit, confined limit, or there is no confined boundary for that IoT. Therefore, the scalability, that is one of the major challenge that has to be addressed. Managing a growing number of devices is critical for IoT expansion. So that is one of the major things. That the next one is interoperability. See, we are connecting devices. See, for example, we use 2 items to I mean, in order to communicate, in order to make 2 devices which works on different protocols, we use gateways. In order to make 2 similar items which work on same protocols, we use bridges in general computer terminology or in computer networks. Here the big question mark is, or here the big challenge is interoperability. Devices are not devices that are being connected in this Internet of Things are not of similar type. They are of various types with various standards and various operating with various operating approaches and with various protocols. So interoperability, devices connecting and making them to communicate with each other, that is one of the major tasks that has to be addressed in this IoT. So interoperability is one of the major parameters that has to be addressed. Different devices must communicate effectively. So in simple networks, we use bridges and we use gateways for different purposes. Then what about this interoperability by connecting different networks in different items in the Internet of Things? Then one of the other one is security. So an ideal man's brain is like a devil's brain. With that saying, interop security. So it is connected throughout the internet. Anybody can join and anybody can introduce some sort of virus or some sort of other harmful things related to in order to slow down the process of processing or whatever it may be. So security is also one of the major concern. So major security threats or attacks, they are very much prone to these IoT. So data and devices must be protected from vulnerabilities and threats. The second one is latency. See, uh, I may be sitting here, now, there are people, see, I'm here, I'm sitting in Vijayanagaram, a district which is located in Uttaraandhra, next to Visakhapatnam, 60 kilometers away from Visakhapatnam. So, recently, I think you people might have watched this. A person who is sitting in US, in Texas, is monitoring his farm house, which is located in Vijayanagaram district nearby this Chipurupalli, is monitoring his farm house through these IoT technologies. What is the moisture that is there in his farmland, and also the water levels that is available in this farmland. I mean, you can watch it. I think I thought of playing it, but somehow I could not able to get because of the time constraint. So that you can Google it. That video is available. Sitting in US in Texas state, he is watching and he is monitoring all his farm through this IoT technology. But the thing is latency. Latency means the connecting between the end-to-end transmission. It is getting delayed. So how do we address those delays? As I said, if you take unmanned vehicle or drone, communication between sender and receiver, because of various constraints, that will be delayed, or various protocols that has to be delayed. So that problem has to be addressed. So these are all the more major four challenges that we come across in IoT technologies. One is scalability, the second one is interoperability, third one is security, and fourth one is latency. So these are all the challenges. Solving security gaps. 5 common challenges facing in IoT devices are operating environment, or challenging configuration of devices, problem with compatibility, bandwidth limitations, and connectivity issues. Obviously, operating environment. See, obviously these sensors we keep open to the sky, and they will be placed at different places. Operating environment is one of the important thing. Challenging configuration of devices. So as I mentioned, different items are connected to the net, and configuring them and bringing for different equipment, different devices, different sensors, works on different protocols, and also they connectivity, they're connecting them and making them to get connected to each other, and making them to communicate with each other. That is one of the challenging thing. There is nothing but problem with compatibility. Then bandwidth limitations. See, if it is a small application, we can that application may suffice with the help of Bluetooth technology. Or if it is say some 90 meters, 60 above 60 meters, we can go for Zigbee. Then if it is more than 60 kilometers or 100 meters, we can go for the next level. So bandwidth is also very important. See, for example, if I flight, if I make a flight, if I fly, if I flight the drone, the band, I mean, I have, say for example, it works for say some 30 meters, but the height of the drone is above 30 meters. obviously the ground control station may not be in a position to receive the signals properly. Therefore, obviously that application that what we are looking for, it may get failed. So these are all the problems that this is one of the major issue or parameter that has to be addressed in IoT. The last one is connectivity issues. So connectivity, as I mentioned, bandwidth, energy, turnaround, throughput, and all these things, connectivity issues are also very important. So because of wide variety of equipments are connected to this Internet of Things, and they are to be configured, and we should make them to connect with each other. So that is also one of the major thing. So these are all the challenges that major challenges that are being posed in IoT. First one is solving security is also one of the important thing. Next, uninterrupted coverage, scalability, interoperability, bandwidth availability, and limited battery life. So what are the IoT applications? So as I mentioned, as we have seen, there are n number of applications, but more prominently we use in health centers, health IoT in health uh, sector is being picking up by sitting in the home itself. We can estimate our health. I mean, the doctor can go through your health condition and prescribe the medicines based upon the various parameters that you are going to get. See, by simply wearing a smartwatch, or by simply wearing by using a simple, you know, uh, what we call a smart mobile, it grasps or it collects the data that is related, related the data related to your health condition, and by analyzing the data, the application will give you whether you have to reduce your weight, whether you what is the heartbeat rate, what is your pulse rate, what is your BP, what is your sugar, and all these things. So health in health center, these IoT applications are had made a big impact, and also in the down the line in another 4 to 5 years, we are going to see phenomenal change, rapid change with respect to these applications in health center. Then followed by maritime industries. Maritime also, see, if you take a national remote sensing agency, most of the, I think you people who are working in good reputed institutions, you might have come across the applications that are being processed by ISRO, Indian Space Research Organization. They will be keeping sensors at various points, and through sensors they will be collecting data, either through, I mean, either it might be satellite or through some sort of sensors, and that data has to be analyzed, and they will be collecting the temperatures, they will be collecting water levels, they will be collecting, I mean, by taking some sort of photographs, by taking some sort of weather conditions, I mean, so on and so forth, and they will be analyzing. And if you go through this NRSA website, it will give you the soil levels that are located in Karimnagar district, that are I mean, what type of crops that you can go for, and what type, I mean, for each crop, what are the levels of water that has to be dripped, and what are the levels of, I mean, what type of crops you can go for. And see, this is the beauty of this IoT, where these where we can use remotely this IoT technology for this for the development or for the sake of mankind to yield better outcome. So in the similar way, maritime industry. So in maritime industry also, these sensors are placed in deep sea in order to predict certain things, uh, you know, uh, where more seafood is available, and also what is the temperature within the sea, below, say, some 1,000 kilometers below the sea to the sea level, and for various application purposes and for various scientific reasons, these in maritime industry, these Internet of Things are being used. Of course, most of us, we know how these IoT applications are being used in smart homes, and smart ports, smart sea transport, and smart power systems, and of course education sector, e-learning, and smart transportations. So down the line, this market, see, these IoT technologies, cloud technologies, edge computing. See, this data, whatever the data that we are gathering, this data has to be sent, or this data has to be collected at cloud, or let us say edge, or presuming that it is being sent to cloud. So there we are going to analyze, we are going to apply some sort of analysis, analyzing by using some sort of deep learning techniques, or by using some machine learning techniques. We analyze there, and we will come to a conclusion that because of this data, this is what the outcome of that particular application. So these are all interrelated, IoT applications, cloud computing, and I mean, based on applications, we most these days we use these deep learning techniques in order to predict something, or in order to classify something. So it all depends upon the application we choose, and it all depends upon the application and the protocols that we use, and various constraints. It all depends from application to application that we use. So, see, for example, smart health monitoring system. If you look at this, see, in during 21 to 22, entire globe was under pressure, or in unrest because of this COVID-19. So, in order to just by having a simple sensor, we can gather the information. What is the oxygen level, blood pressure sensor, pulse rate sensor, temperature sensor. These sensors are being, I mean, connectors are there which converts analog signal to digital signal, and they are connected to Raspberry Pi, or you can go for Arduino. So this, which is being connected with Wi-Fi, the data is being sent to cloud. There it is being analyzed. I mean, by applying, I mean, that is being stored in cloud server, and through that cloud, data is being shared to doctors for assistance. During severe cloud, COVID conditions, especially in COVID second wave, doctors are very much afraid to meet the patient directly. So there, at that point of time, the most of the doctors, they have utilized, they have used this IoT technology for the sake of gathering information with respect to pulse of the blood pressure, pulse of the heart, temperature sensor, and all these things, to gather information from the COVID patient. And they used to analyze, and they used to prescribe the medicines as required. So this is one of the best application for IoT based smart health monitoring system. So IoT in agriculture. So these days, agriculture is being picking up in such a way that now in Nellore district, recently, uh, the pesticides are pesticides are mostly pesticides, in order to uh, use pesticides for a particular crop. They are using these drones, and they are small tanks of 150 liters to 200-liter tanks. They are being tagged to that drone, and they are lifting that pesticides, mixture of these pesticides, uh, or some sort of urea, or whatever it may be. They are uplifting through drone, and that is being sprinkled on the crop where it has to be used. So that is one of the beauty that we are coming across these days. So down the line, most I mean down the line, most of the agriculture based, in agriculture, even in rural areas, even in remote areas, in Uttarandhra, we call it as it's a backward area, but even here in places like remote areas border to Orissa, there these IoT technologies are used in certain forms like Saluru and in some other areas. So this is about IoT in agriculture. So IoT based smart agriculture monitoring system. So this is the block diagram for it. So temperature sensor, water level sensor, soil moisture sensor, which is being connected to this Arduino board. Through that, information is being captured, and it has been analyzed, and it has been thrown to the IoT website. Okay. So smart homes and offices, this IoT technologies are predominantly used here in smart homes and offices. So summary and key, what are the summary and key takeaways of IoT? So far, for these 1 hour 15 minutes, I have been throwing some light on the key parameters that are basically what is an IoT, how do we communicate, basically what is IoT protocol stack, what are the various protocols or technologies that are being used in various layers in IoT, and what are the functionalities of them, then and the challenges in IoT protocols, and future of IoT protocols. So finally, I would like to conclude that the IoT protocol stack is a complex but essential framework that enables the seamless communication and data exchange necessary for IoT systems to function effectively. Understanding the roles and protocols at each layer helps in designing robust, efficient, and scalable IoT solutions. As IoT landscape continues to evolve, staying informed about the latest developments in IoT protocols and standards will be crucial for leveraging the full potential of IoT technologies. So this is the knowledge, little knowledge that I could able to share with you participants. So I will be glad to answer your queries if time permits. So handing overing the session to the Dr. Narendra.
Yes, sir. So, any questions on the topic? Any questions you would want to ask?
So there is a question: how do IoT addresses? One minute. There is a question. How IoT is used in rural areas? Yes, that is one of the good questions. In rural areas or in agency areas, now governments are thinking about to deploy this IoT, especially in agency areas like Badrachalam or in Araku or in deep forests, where uh, they can gather the information of the patients, and based upon the requirement, they can suggest, or they can deploy the medicines, especially for healthcare of the agency people, where they are most of the agency areas, they are not exposed to the public, and they are not aware of what are the medicines or medical facilities. They are not uh, they are deprived of these these facilities. So now, because of this technology, um, you know remotely they are gathering the information during very stormy, cyclones, during high during extreme weather conditions, either it may be hot or cold, and they are gathering information, or during viral fevers they are gathering information, and accordingly the governments are taking necessary steps. But that though we are talking all these things, still there should be advancement, a certain advancement in with respect to implementing this IoT in a big way or in a larger way. The thing is, as I mentioned, latency is one of the important point, and also uh, interoperability, scalability. These things are to be addressed. Up to some extent, this is fine, but we have not imagined that mobile will change our the I mean this change. Did we imagine that mobile is going to change the technology, or mobile is going to change the present scenario? So within a click of a button, immediately after getting up from our bed, I think we don't know. Earlier, we used to say that we used to watch, we used to see our parents, or we used to see God's photograph. But immediately after waking up from the bed, we check whether the mobile is there with us or not. So that's how technology has imbibed in our day-to-day life. But however, definitely within no short span, this IoT is going to be the game changer. uh, Through this IoT, lot of things are going to change. Definitely, with this IoT, IoT has penetrated in various walks of the life of a common man, and I would say that because of this technology, people who are residing, or people who are living in agency areas, they will be benefited with respect to these medical facilities. So but still problems are there. Why? Because as I mentioned, power, battery, equipment, communicating between transmitting data from one point to other point, these things are to be addressed, but there is a scope for definitely for improvement. I hope that I have answered your question.
Yes, sir. Shall I conclude?
Yeah, madam.
Yes, sir.
Sir,
Thank you.
hello.
Hello.
Yes, sir, it is the nice presentation, sir. Actually, I have some queries. Only one queries that medical devices
Hmm.
and this medical devices you had discussed about the security and privacy. Sir, what are the
Hmm.
most critical cyber security threats to IoT medical devices? Because nowadays we are using all the smartphones and anything like any blood pressure or pulse rate you are measuring. But the thing is that cyber security should be required. And what are the threats? What are the challenges for these medical devices, sir?
Yeah. See, obviously, Dr. Suprajit,
Yes.
um, this is one of the major drawback with IoT. As I mentioned, this is open, and this technology is prone for attacks, right?
Yes, sir.
So these attacks might be of various whatever the common attacks that a network undergo, like virus or worms, or denial of services, or whatever might be. These attacks, they are prone, and obviously uh, the the data that is being communicated, that has to be communicated, that may not be reaching in time, and also because of this denial of services. So whatever the attacks that are being faced by a common network, everything is being faced here also. So that is the major drawback with IoT as well.
Yes, sir. And I could see that many challenges is there in the medical devices, especially. But
Yes.
in the Internet of Things, we can apply in anywhere, like any engineering, and especially I'm talking about the medical devices. It is very
Hmm.
difficult right now, and we need the more challenges. We need to do the more work on the IoT, sir.
Sure, correct.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Nice to talk with you, sir.
Yeah, pleasure, thank you.
Any questions to ask, or shall I conclude? Okay, sir. I'm concluding the session.
Yeah, madam.
Thank you, sir, for insightful sessions. IoT protocol stack, and most of us are new to the subject of IoT. And after your session, we feel motivated to hear the remaining sessions. Your PPT is highlighting focusing on IoT protocol stack and requirement of effective IoT, which was very helpful. Thank you, and we look forward to more to have more sessions in future from you, sir. Thanks a lot.
Yeah, thank you, madam. A pleasure to uh, you know be part of this FDP. And also I thank your college management, and also especially Dr. Narendra for inviting me and giving me an opportunity to share the little knowledge that I could able to that I have to the participants. And I wish that I could able to share something that is useful for their this IoT particular domain. Once again, I thank all the members for their patience, and also the organizers and all the other members for giving me this opportunity. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Most welcome, sir. Thank you.
Yeah, pleasure.
Thank you, Rajeshwar sir.
Yeah, thank you, Narendra. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. We'll share the PPT in the group, in the WhatsApp group. And thank you everyone for attending this session. There's a small quiz on today's topics. Kindly go through it, please. The quiz would be shared in the chat box.